Okay, I'm live. So I'm just gonna start talking. And hopefully people can hear me when I'm talking. Okay. Straight up, straight down. Okay. Now, what I'm gonna be talking about is rehabilitation, reconforming back into society. Okay, because there's a lot of people who go to prison, a lot of people who do rehab and all these things. And I believe this is a main issue why people are homeless out in these streets. Okay, they're homeless out in these streets because they can't get jobs and shit because they rehabilitating. People won't want to forgive them for what happened in their life. Okay, and this is a serious thing. We don't have to fix this. If someone did something, if someone did something, okay, and they paid their time, they did their time in prison, then they shouldn't have to be sitting back struggling to try to survive. Okay, prison is supposed to, at least the term or the meaning of the whole concept is that they're supposed to be getting their life changed together, straight and narrow, so they can come back to normal society and live a life. But there's all these restrictions to how they do it and where they're going about uh, to change their lives and do it right. Okay, you got all these programs and all this stuff, but when you're fitting into normal society, it's hard. You already got people who wrote you off when you went to prison or jail, and then when you get out, they're trying to get back like, hey, how's it going? But they don't want to realize that things have changed mentally for you. Okay, and these people need to come across more. If they're going to be your friend, they need to come across more sincere. If they're going to be your family, they need to be more real about how they're talking to you and showing their support. You know, and if it's a girl that you're digging, she needs to stop the nonsense. We're not in some movie. This ain't a love and hip hop or some crap. You need to support the person you're with and not bring them down and make them feel like, oh, well, hell, I'm gone anyway. But these jobs, you want to rehabilitate people to be able to fit in society. These jobs got to be more willing to hire people and not judge them, belittle them, talk down to them. And please don't put the person that went to prison or jail in a room with somebody who is micromanaging them. You can't have someone micromanaging you, yelling down your back, hey, you didn't do this right. I told you right now. Why aren't you doing that right? And you're sitting there like, dang, why this guy is like, just all on my case. Why he's on my back trying to start some static. Okay? Just plain and simple. You want that help. You need that support. Okay? And I believe this is the main issue. This is the main problem right now. Understand that if they did their time, all that past stuff has to be put behind. You fought somebody, shed some blood, you know. In all reality, if this was the westerns and you fought and shot somebody, yeah, you're like, wanted dead or alive, like the song said or whatever. But you know, they had a level of respect, a level of being famous on wanted posters and through people who, you know, were like there. And they're like, oh, he did this because of this. Or they were terrified these individuals stayed away from them. But the thing is, yes, we got them walking around in society trying to fit in. To me, there's so many wimps and posers running around pretending to be something they're not. Trying to be gangster, trying to be this big dope fiend or pimp or whatever. But are they really doing it that way? They just coming across like a certain way, trying to live a lifestyle. I believe this is what's wrong with society because entertainment makes you say, okay, let's live this way. And because people want to act like they're cool, especially certain people who are in poverty stricken areas, as well as people who aren't educated, are going to try to imitate that which they think is cool and go around causing chaos. They're gonna say, "Oh, I'm a gangster," so they're gonna try to live like a gangster, or they're gonna try to, you know what I'm saying? And then when life hits the shit, and they end up going to jail or prison, then they're like a joke to everybody because they're sitting there and they're getting taken advantage of. They're getting bullied. They're getting, they're a joke. They go into the hole because they've fallen for everything, you know. And the thing about it is, people are in so much need to want to be known and respected and stuff that they need that, I don't say codependency, they need that codependency with dealing with people. And so what they do is they go and they do whatever that person say. They want to be in the family so much. This is why they joined the gang. This is why they did what they did. But the problem is that support's not there, and people ain't there. They don't care. It ain't like a mafia movie where a guy's down and then there's some other guys cooking dinner and all this, and they're still doing jobs on the outside. Yeah, it might be like that for some, but it ain't for a lot. And those the people that do that, they in the feds. It's different than regular prison. And let's just not talk about the whole fact that law enforcement will literally kill people in prison. There's cops out there or correctional officers who will bully the hell out of these people. These people end up going to the hole. They don't act right. Like I said, people are codependent. The hole is for people who, the hole's bad for people who are codependent because they want to be around people. They need to be around people. And so by putting them in the hole, you're taking them away from general population where they can socialize with other people, call their girl or whatever on the phone, or be able to have access to televisions and all this stuff. And the thing about it is, when you're in that situation, you know, and you want to have all these access to things, they pretty much what they do is they're cutting you off by putting you in the hole. And if you're, like I said, codependent, you can't stand it. You can't find a way to get along with people because you're stuck in this place that you can't get out of. It's like light torture. The lights are on 24/7. Guards bring you food, and you got to take a shower once every week or twice a week, depending on whatever the situation is. So they're not telling you the truth when they say, "Oh, you're in the hole." Some places, some states, whatever countries, you can be in the hole and they'll never come help you or feed you for whatever time. But now we know that's cruelty to inmate cruelty or whatever, and so that doesn't happen right. And the thing about it is, so a guy might do something like flirt with a cop's or a correctional officer's wife, and when they're doing that, they're literally uh, setting themselves up because they get sent to the hole automatically and get new charges added to their record, which gives them more time. But then eventually, what happens is the individuals will get bullied by the cops. They'll come in there and beat the hell out of them and stuff. And I mention this because just recently on the news, there was this guy, this brother, and he got beat down by a whole bunch of cops. He had like dreads and stuff, and they beat the living hell out of him. But here's the thing: it happens every day around the United States of America. People who they don't like or that they done said something to another officer, they get revenge, they retaliate. It's no different than when the military goes to another country and they terrorize the enemy, bully them, and it's weird torture. They might have girls coming up and from our military doing weird sexual crap to the freaking prisoner and things. There was some crap that happened a while back, and this was, I think, when Obama was in office. It's either Obama or Bush, and they went over there and they terrorized the hell out of this guy and did all this crazy stuff to him. And it's just weird. I can't remember the whole thing about it, but trust me, I watch a lot of news, so I'm obtain all this crap, and it runs around all day in my head, and I don't know what's going on because I got all this other stuff going on. I got movies floating around in here, animations and crazies and boobies and things. Lots of chicks that with boobies. You Insta girl, women are beautiful. Uh, Instagram. But yeah. So my point is, these people are not just in there because they're uh, criminals. They're in there because you put them in a place where they become a victim. And when a predator becomes a prey, it changes the scenario of the game a lot more. It changes them to being more sympathetic to the other side. And this is why the rehabilitation part of what I'm talking about comes in, because they became sympathetic to being bullied or seeing things in a different light, you know. And so they start to change, and they want that change. They want to be back with whatever they were doing. You know, that's number one. Number two, after they say they're tired of it, they don't want this chaos. You know, certain people have certain things they stand by. Some people don't, and so they're more adapted to the life of incarceration. And so, because they're adapted to that life, they're able to sit back and say, "Hey, I'm cool. I'm in the gang. I'm down." But the other fools, they're sitting there like, "Oh, the hell with this. I want to get out. I want to drink a beer. I want to go to the nudie bar. I want to watch sports on my couch wherever I'm at. You know, see their kids or whatever. You know." And so, the point of the issue, what I'm saying is this: that there's a change happening there. There's a change where the person looks at themselves from within and out and look at the other stuff, especially if they're in there for a while, and they're like miserable about it. You know, they're beat up about it. In some cases, and this is where the rich people and everything is all messed up, because they're literally sitting there thinking they have an upper hand above everybody because they got money, but then they go to prison and they're victims. Somebody's either trying to hold them hostage for money, and that happens with regular people. You know, put somebody in there that's a square, ain't never did nothing, but they think they can't be, you know, victimized or whatever. So then they turn around and they're like, "Hey, call this person, get $40 for me." You know, just imagine if a guy went in there and he has $48 million. They're like, "Hey, you better call these people and send them $500,000. Or I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna have my people outside kill your wife." You know, they make movies of this stuff, so it actually happens. So my point is, society has to be able to change to stop the repeating cycle. And I believe people's families and friends, the mindset has to change so these people don't end up back in prison. They're doing the same crap again or out here in these streets. Because right now, everybody is getting in these streets being homeless and poor. And I believe with the way cops are with racial profiling and the way society is in general when it comes to these businesses, that eventually people's minds are going to crack, you know, and they're going to end up falling back into the same trap, and it's going to get worse to where you're going to let out the wrong people, and they're just going to just raise hell because they're tired of it. And then imagine, I think the worst part about it is if you can imagine someone young, like 18, 19, going to jail, and when they're in jail, they're sitting there and they're like, whoa, you know, and they sit there for 30, 40 years. So imagine that, like they're 18, 20 years old, and they go to prison, and then they get out when they're like 40 years old, man, and then they don't know nothing else but prison life. They can't adapt. They can't rehabilitate in a society, okay? They don't understand how it is to live. Like they don't, especially if, when they went to jail, there wasn't no cell phones, no internet. Just imagine that. There wasn't none of this stuff we got now. And they get out 40 years later, they're crying, they're tripping, they want to stay behind bars. They want to sit there and be like, oh my God, I'm afraid to go out there. I don't know what's going to happen. But they're used to this chaos that they live in. They're used to this hell. They're used to this society that was formed out of supposed to be protecting regular society, but actually it's just creating a whole new society of punishment that isn't really punishment. It's annoying torture where you're on guard all day, where you're trying to protect yourself from all the perpetrators, the enemy, the predators, the demons. Okay, and all I'm saying is you have to be able to take the time and understand this shit. You know, people just let them out, let them go. They go in like, especially women. They dudes go in, oh, my man's in jail. What kind of female wants to be with a guy that's in jail and at the same time run out here and do whatever the hell like it doesn't matter, you know? And then when he gets out, hey baby, yeah, I'm mad as hell at that broad. I ain't trying to talk to her. I ain't trying to sleep with her. I'm like, you get the hell away from me. You took how many years of my life? So you have to think about that, man. A person that doesn't mind someone being in prison, but yet you don't talk to them, you don't support them when they come out, you're the problem. And that's why the people that try to get out and try to rehabilitate, or get back into society, always end up going back to jail because these people they're dealing with don't really have their best interests at heart. And this is, yeah, I'm calling this show Moral High Ground because I do it already on a podcast on Spotify and stuff. And I'm just saying, you have to be able to understand that it's not morally right if you're going to say you're changing people and these people get out and you can't help them, then you're the problem. You're the problem. Society is the problem. These jobs is the problem. Okay. Why? Right now, you got people running around doing drugs in the street. You think about all them people that went to jail back in the 90s and 80s and 70s, somewhere in hippie time. Okay. They go into jail because they was doing drugs in public areas, minus the hippie area of the 60s where everybody was drug free and war free and whatever. Not really war free because Vietnam was going on. But my point is, these people out here shooting up heroin on the streets, little kids walking by. Is that what you want your people to see? You want your kids to see this and think this is the way of living? Or I can work, or I can sit on the street like a bum and shoot needles in my arm. Or I can sit back and go smoke crack next to the freaking train station and then get on the train and harass people because why? There's no consequences to my actions. But then all these other people sitting in prison, they had those consequences to those actions for doing drugs and doing exactly that. But now, because we defunded the police to a certain extent, to where they don't really give a damn on what's going on, we had this place just raided for selling mushrooms in a business here in Portland. That business was selling illegal shrooms for like 4 days with a line going around the block. Why is this happening? Why did it happen? Because they allowed it to happen. There's no reason why it should take 3, 4 days to close a business down that has an illegal operation. You can do your RICO Act or whatever the hell it is, but still, this people get away with murder now. You can blame COVID, you can blame Black Lives Matter because they came up with the whole defunding the cops thing. But in all reality, it's the people who want to be sympathetic to causes that don't matter, who don't want to look out for their fellow man, people who don't want to stand up for something but don't fall for anything. You know, it's like I just don't understand it. You don't have your own independent mind. Your mind has to be connected to someone else's thoughts, someone else's views. Do you have a God? Do you have values? Do you value yourself? Okay. Those that do know that all that other stuff is ridiculous, is boring, it makes no sense. That's your lifestyle, but we can't judge each other based on what we, like and dislike. You don't like something, that's what you like, It's not something I like, but I'm not going to like what you like. We can do whatever we want. But the whole thing I'm saying is you have to be able to give people a chance at least. A chance to succeed, a chance to survive, You must give them respect, and be able to say, hey, just, whatever. You don't like this, it's cool. But I do dig your style, man. You just gotta be like, yeah, I dig your style. I like how you is. Let me help you out. You know, the world will be a lot better if we can do that right now. And I mentioned this when I tried to do the other live stream, but I was half asleep and kind of sick. So my point is, we gotta have, we gotta look out for our fellow men. Goodwill towards men. That's the time, the season we in right now. We gotta have that goodwill. We gotta make it 24/7, every day, every year. Instead of talking down to people, walking up disrespecting people, trying to start fights with people, and just straight up being immoral. Okay, just being wrong and not having proper etiquette. You see an old person with a walker and you're gonna walk through the door before that person, go on and let them walk through. Waiting a good 30 seconds ain't gonna hurt you. You know, yeah, you're in a rush, but let that person move first. You know, have patience sometimes. Women don't want the door opening for their butt anyway. Let them flip out until they realize that, hey, this is what people are supposed to do who's got good sense. You know, and it's the same thing when it comes to what I'm talking about with this rehabilitation thing. These people come out, they went through hell, they served their time, they did their thing. Give them a job and let them try to live. Give them that respect. And why the hell not? You have no idea what another man has been through or lived in his life. So don't judge them. Just try to work with them. Try to be a friend. Some people are just acting out because they don't have that friend or that support. You give them that support, you give them that friendship, and you gonna get back 100 times fold. Okay. The last will be first, and the first shall be last. Okay. Understand that redemption is what we all need. We all need to be forgiven for our things and be able to move forward, steadily forward, without any consequences of being judged. We need to be supported by anyone around us and respected. And anybody that's sitting around spreading rumors and disrespecting you and just making you look bad, they have wickedness in their soul and demons they're trying to fix. But it's best to leave those people alone, because in the long run they're only going to drag you down with them. Like they say, misery likes company. And who wants to be in a place of misery and hang around that type of company? Honestly, all I gonna say, I mean, I've been talking for a minute, and I got my homeboy right on, man. I'm glad you watching me, G. Okay. Hey. I don't know how to do it, but anyway. So I'm just saying, this is straight up, man. The main issue that's gonna happen if we can't start changing how we feel about people who's being incarcerated, people who's going to these drug rehabs, and trying to make them, you know, succeed. And we got to make them succeed. If we don't try to make them succeed, they're down for the same failure. And seeing how things is already with mass shootings and all this drug stuff and homelessness, it's just going to get worse. So the best way to do it is to try to respect them and give them a chance. My main thing I'm talking about is giving people a chance and trying to, like I said, spread the goodwill towards men. We have to. We have no other choice. We are all in the same boat. I don't care if you have $200,000 in the bank. You don't have 200 billion dollars in the bank, and because you don't, that puts you on the same boat as a working class person and a homeless person. There's no middle class anymore. You got rich people saying they're middle class, like Donald Trump and whatever. So if that's the case, that means you are in the same boat, and you need to figure out how you can take that 200,000 and put at least 50,000 of it to work to help somebody in your community. They don't even have to be that. You can collaborate with other people who have $200,000 and Say, hey, if we each put $10,000 in, we can start this foundation. We can start this program that might help people. The reason why there's less rehab places right now is because the government figured out how to get money out of people. Why? And this is going to sound crazy to you, but all these rehab places that were around were what? Nonprofit organizations. Nonprofit organizations, they're supposed to not make money, they do. But the money goes into the business itself. It doesn't filter out to other places. But if you say, oh, these are drug induced mental illnesses out here, then these people go to mental illness facilities. And so the mental illness facilities end up taking money that goes into the government. Okay, they're taking money from people for medication. They got their uh, health plans. That money comes from government and goes right back into the government. So they're making profit off of these people that go to these drug therapies, these rehab places. I mean, not rehab, but mental health places, and they're just getting this money filtered back through the system to where they can do something. More people with mental illness that's drug induced mental illness, the more income the government gets. So they don't care about making you go to rehab and truly getting the help you need. And I've seen a lot of people. I'm telling you, they're out in the street just shooting up, smoking. They got some people down the street here. Got a porta potty on the corner, and these people living in a damn porta potty. When they give me a pack of smokes, I hear them talking. I don't know if they're getting down in there or whatever, but I don't know how you fit multiple people in a porta potty. I ain't never tried it, ain't going to. But the thing about it is, this is why there's so many drug people, or should I say mentally ill, drug addicted people on the street, is because they no longer want to make nonprofit organizations when the turnover rate for mental ill people is more. If you got more people that's mentally ill and they convince the society that they're mentally ill, which they do, except for in the wrong places, there's people out here that's mentally ill in ways that I'm not even going to talk about, but it should be obvious to all of you, it should really be obvious to all of you. But the thing about it is, these drug addicted people, they get all this support if they want it. There's still a lot of rehab places out there, but I'm telling you, there's not as much as it used to be. This is why you can see blocks of people just getting high. This is why there's a homeless problem. There's tents out there. But here's the thing: the ones that did go to rehab and did go through treatments, they don't have the support. Once again, like I'm saying with the prisoners, they don't have the support. You put them in a low income housing or SRO, and they're around people who's letting in drug addicts, letting in homeless people that's on drugs. And what they're doing is they're sitting there going through a process in their mind, like, wow, like, should I go back to drugs? Should I do that? So you're really putting them in a spot. You're knocking their head up against the wall, okay? You're saying, hey, here's temptation. You did it before, you might as well do it again. And they don't have that support to say, hey, come on, let's get away from this place. Or their family done left them behind because they can't forgive them for the crap they did when they were on this stuff. So this is another thing where I'm saying they need help on that support. There should be a limitation to people that get housing that are on drugs. Not just them, but you're gonna make a building where there's, like, let's say there's more drug addicts than drug dealers than there are regular people that are either vets, disabled, uh, young folks. Then they need their own apartment building. Old people need their own separate buildings. Vets need their own separate buildings. Okay, that way these people won't be influenced to do these things. It just makes more sense. Instead of putting someone that's like 22 years old in a building where there's people who's like 50 and up, and in the middle of that you have drug dealers and gangbangers or whatever, all living in the same building. There's always going to be conflict. But if you have a building that's just separate for all these, then it makes more sense. Even though we want to unify, some things need to be divided because it doesn't work right. You know, that's like adding too many colors to a painting. You don't want to do that. It's gonna mess it up. We adding way too many colors and certain things ain't blending together right. It's gonna mess things up. It's gonna look bad, and that's what happens. I was on I was watching the news, and they were talking about getting people off the street, and they were saying that instead of trying just to put them in a certain place, for them to survive or whatever off the street, they're talking about putting them directly into an apartment and letting them work their demons out. And the bad thing about it is you can't be untaught this street shit. Apparently, there's people out there that like digging in the streets for stuff, stealing stuff, digging through cans. They can't shake their mind from being homeless. So that's a mental issue that they created out there. And it's kind of like taking, it's like those stories you hear about the kids that are raised by animals. They try to put them back into society. It takes time for them to learn how to get back into society. They can't just separate themselves from the animals that raised them or brought them up, And so they still think they're a monkey or a wolf or a bear, whatever the hell animal raised them, penguin, I don't know. But they believe they're still that animal. And some of them can't rehabilitate back into society. So when these people are out here homeless and you're trying to just put them in a building saying let them work their own demons out, and it is wrong for the media to say that, because if you put them in there and trying to let them work their demons out, it's not going to work. They're going to take that same crap and bring it into the building or house or whatever it is you create, and it's going to bring problems for the rest of the people there. So it's best to have a rehab facility or something that can help them, and then give them the financial support or uh, manual labor or whatever that they can get to help them get back on their feet. Some people are determined to survive at all costs, no matter what. So they're not going to let things hold them back. They're going to move on and keep moving on, and they're going to find a way to get past all the issues and barriers that get in front of them. And those people should be commended, or if I'm saying it right, those people should be rewarded in the best way possible because they went above and beyond to achieve uh, their way of living. They did greatness by overcoming some demon that was hunting and taking them down. And they was able to take that and move forward in life and become something that the other people can't even do. It might seem stupid that they was able to get a job, get a house and stuff. Like that's not a big achievement for most. But come on, like I said, it takes uh, a lot to rehabilitate someone back into society who got out of the mindset of being a regular person that works, lives, pays bills and stuff. So a lot of them are used to that. So when one person achieves that one goal of getting a job, getting housing, getting a car, they should be rewarded when it comes to the lifestyle that they're living out there. Because hey, who the hell want to be outside, especially when it's cold as shit? It's colder than a witch's tit wearing brass bras. And you're going to sit there and say, hey, well, that guy didn't achieve nothing. He just got a place. Anybody can do that. Not anybody. Not everybody. There's people who do burn crap down, they can't get a place. There's people who do all kinds of chaos, they can't get a place. So, it just makes more sense to support the people who do right to try to survive. And that's the ultimate goal we're going to have to focus on, because if we let the government continue to do what they're doing, we might all fall. I don't care if it's Trump, I don't care if it's Biden. Understand that they're not looking out for our best interests as people. And we have to look out for ourselves. We have to look out for our fellow men. Like I said, we need goodwill towards men, goodwill towards women, but we got to drop this mask, this fake crap that we got going on where everybody thinks they're the shit, the big dog. Girls think they're the queen. A queen of what? A queen of shit. Queens of shit. Okay, and cum stained whores. That's what they're the queens of. Okay, they need to get on the real thing and be a true queen and conquer. Not just conquer money and some dude. You know, but conquer trying to be the most powerful person mentally and physically. You know, knowledge is a powerful thing. Y'all think that, America is great because of some crap way back in the day, or great because our financial currency is better than most countries. You know, America is great because of education. We have the ability to educate people no matter what their age is. You can go to college at 80 years old, whatever you want to do. You know, the fact that we can educate ourselves anytime makes America great. That's the only thing. There's a thing about it. You don't even have to go to college. You go pick up a book. You walk up, do like this, and go, wow, I'm reading this book. This book is made by Technohan, and I rolled it upside down. This is by Technohan. Okay? It's the answers, okay, about your heart. Okay? But it's a whole different show, and I'm not going to talk about that. So, but my point is, you can read so much and become just as smart as a freaking attorney or whatever physicist. Okay? And the proof of that, which people ignore, okay, people want to talk about, here's an achievement that no one talks about. Abraham Lincoln. Now, I ain't talking about the Civil War. I ain't talking about freeing the slaves. This man was considered smart and didn't even go to college. Didn't go to school. Read everything out of a book. He was lost sitting in a cabin by himself. His parents died of some crap back then, and he was chopping wood. And he's like, I'm just going to live in this cabin, on the bayou or whatever the hell. And he sat there reading, okay? He was reading all kinds of stuff. And people was like, whoa, this guy's smart when he started meeting him. And he was able to get so far in life and become president of the United States. For us Americans, that's an achievement. That's like being king. You know what I'm saying? That's like King Arthur. Okay? He done picked up a book after he was chopping wood. His mom died of some flu or some nonsense like cholera or some kind of herpes, I don't know. And then the dad died of some kind of other disease, probably was bit by a chipmunk or something, I don't know. Okay? But yet he was able to sit there and read some books and be able to be a complete moron that became a complete genius and became president of the United States of America. That's a hell of an achievement over a guy who's a billionaire already who becomes president. Hell of an achievement from a guy you can't tell what his race is, but he's the only dark person to ever become president of the United States. Okay, I'm just saying. I don't care if you're Democrat or Republican. We need new political parties. One that truly says, I understand the people. They're just spilling the same crap every year, every freaking month, all the time on the news. Okay? It's telling us the same thing about, oh, what we want. We want Medicare. We want this. We want that. But do we really want these things? When Obama became president, you know what they did? We used to just plug the TV in for y'all that wasn't born before year 2000. Okay, we should just plug the TV in, change channels all day, or go up and do the knob thing. And I remember going up and being in the remote control for my grandfather, turn the knob. But what thing is this? Okay, we used to do that, and TV was free. Now we got so many damn things to watch. It gets boring trying to figure out what to watch. Should I watch this? Should I watch this? Someone recommends it. You don't dig it. It's stupid. Why do they do that? To confuse us, to keep us confused. And now they've got more groups that don't make sense to confuse you. And all these groups want to put more laws in and keep biting and poking holes in the Constitution. Literally, no one's being accepted. If you think about it, no one's truly being accepted at all. So it doesn't matter what your race is, what the crap you want to do or be. because you're not being accepted, because you're not allowing yourself to live, to succeed, to survive, and to become great as a person. And this is what I'm saying. We got to come together and get rid of all these damn groups. Start new political party that's separate from Democrat and Republican. We got to be able to let people rehabilitate and give them the support they need and come together as a great force, a power that cannot be taken down, cannot be shaken. Okay? You can't waver and just fall back and say you're going to do it one day and don't do it again. We need to fight to bring humanity together, to be strong as a nation, to be proud, not just, oh, we're black and white. All that crap's been put there to confuse us, to keep us separated. How do you destroy, how do you conquer a nation? You confuse them, you divide them, you separate them. Okay, and that's what's going on. That's what's been going on, and it's time to abolish all that. It's time to bring forth a whole new concept, one that will move steadily on to the future for generations to come, to guide mankind into a world of perfect prosperity. My God, it will be beautiful if you can just get over the hump and quit letting funk bring you down. And with that being said, I'm gonna end this thing. Okay, I'm just gonna end this thing. But I'm saying, plain and simple, you got to try to live to be a better person every day. You got to achieve something. Forget about what happened in the past. You're letting the past hold you back. Let it stay buried in the past. Let it run around your thoughts and analyze what you did wrong, what they did wrong. But don't try to act like you're blameless. Admit your faults and shortcomings to yourself. Forget about admitting it to everyone else you can. But the problem is everyone keeps trying to complain about what they did and tell their business to everybody. People get on here and want to tell their business. And then, oh, I did this. And oh, I did that. No one cares. No one's that important. We're all just in the same boat. Like I said, what's important is trying to come together. With that being said, peace be with y'all and blessings upon you always. Word.